Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. Happy Friday, everyone. Today's topics: press releases for SEO, Google News sites for SEO with Marge Hussain. Today's topics: press releases SEO, Google News sites for SEO with Marge Hussain. I already see a bunch of you out there. Welcome, welcome. Happy Friday, y'all. It's cold out here in Oakland, California, but it's nice and sunny. How's the weather out in your area? Again, today's topics: press releases SEO, Google News sites for SEO with Marge Hussain. What's up, everyone? Happy Friday. Today is going to be the last episode of 2021. I'll be back online January 14th. Bobby got his questions ready. Let me see where Marge is at. Today's topics: press releases for SEO, Google News sites for SEO by Marge Hussain, the founder of Magic PR. Ooh, love it, Hobby. You got a bunch of questions already. Marge, what's up, my man? Hold on, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, I can hear you too. Looking good, brother.
Thank you. How about it, y'all?
Yep, looking good, brother.
Hey, looking the part today.
All right, so I'm going to go over the news, like I do like the few clips in the very beginning, and then I'll dish you in about 8 minutes in. But right now, a lot of people are already talking to you in the live chat. Oh, you have to open up. YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But be sure to put it on mute when you open up YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
They're commenting right now.
What's that? They're commenting right now. Yeah, they're right there. There's like over 23 people already waiting for you.
Oh, nice, man.
All right, guys. Today's topics: press releases for SEO, Google News sites for SEO. I see Clint Butler in there. What's up, my man? All right, Hobby. What's up, my man? All right. Gordon Lijon. Hey, Marge. What's up? All right, Stefan, my man. Looks like Marge is in the live chat. Char, what's up, girl? Ethan, happy Friday. Freddie Dickerson, what's up, my man? Latanya, welcome. All right, guys, we got about 3 more minutes to go. Don't be shy. Say hi. I believe this is Marge's first podcast. So happy to have him on. All right. Don't be shy, guys. Say hi. All right, today's topics. We're going to be talking about press releases for SEO, Google News sites for SEO, by Marge Hussain of Magic PR. Got about 2 more minutes. Again, this is the last episode for 2021. We're going to go out with a bang with Marge.
Hopefully.
You got it, man. We got 2 more minutes to go. Next episode will be on January 14th. Taking a little break. Also, be sure to pay attention. I'll be doing some pop quizzes to give away free copies of the SEO in 2020 book. I'll ask one right in the beginning, and I'll ask a question, particularly to Marge. Those who get it right will get a copy of the book. I will mail you a copy. I got a bunch of these over here. I got about 10 copies to mail out. But if you are out of country, I may have to just gift you it through Kindle. If you're in the US and win, I got you. All right, guys, we got 1 more minute to go. Let me go ahead and get things ready here. Greg DeVera, what's up, bro?
Started, no delay, let's work. Wanna see you be an SEO expert. Paul Andre DeVera, steady dropping knowledge. Over 15 years in the game, so he knows all about it. Master the art of SEO, you will be amazed. Time to get your brand off page to on page. Dropping knowledge, legendary for sure. Whether you're just getting started or self-employed entrepreneur. Yeah, let's go. Subscribe to the SEO video show. Hey.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the SEO video show where SEO is alive and fun. My name is Paul Andre DeVera, aka Dre, and I curate SEO videos released in the past week into about 1-minute clips. My favorite part of the show is when I get to introduce my guest, and my guest this week is the founder of Magic PR, Marge Hussain. Before we get started, I say what's up to everyone in chat. I see Greg, Hobby, Marge, Clint, Gordon, Stefan, and so much more. Thank you so much for coming by. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And the first question is, how many authors are in this book? To get your copy, The closest one will get the copy, or the first one right. All right. Now let's get on with the show.
This is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. Where is the best place to hide a dead body? Page 2 of Google.
In the most recent Google Hangouts, John Mueller was asked about what happens to site pages when it's down for several days. Let's check it out.
So for an outage of maybe a day or so, using a 503 result code is a great way to tell us that we should check back. But after a couple of days, we think this is a permanent result code, and we think your pages are just gone. And we will drop them from the index. And when the pages come back, we will crawl them again, and we will try to index them again. But it's essentially during that time, we will probably drop a lot of the pages from the website from our index. And there's a pretty good chance that it'll come back in kind of a similar way, but it's not always guaranteed. So anytime you have a longer outage where I'm thinking like more than a couple of days, I would assume that at least temporarily you will have really strong fluctuations, and it's going to take a little bit of time to get back in.
So Google will de-index your pages if the site is down for several days. So be sure to create your sitemap with the most important pages on top and submit that to Google Search Console. Speaking of index pages, there is a movement going on called IndexNow. So what is IndexNow? Let's check it out.
What is IndexNow is really this next step of having webmaster be able to notify us about change on their website, but in a trusted way. Mean that this is all about you tell us, and we know that this is you that tell us about the change because you come up with your own key and notify the API about what changed on your site. And it's an easy way to ping us. There is no need to register in Bing Webmaster Tool thing. This is you just provide the key, and we go to verify the key. This is a solution that is open to all search engines. It's not only Bing, it's also Yandex and future search engines that are coming. Most, if not all, big search engines are coming in adopting IndexNow by 2022. So this will be a great way to notify all search engines about all content change on the internet, helping really search engines to discover your changes on your site, helping the whole industry to get their content indexed fast.
Although Google has not officially been a part of this movement yet, I've read articles that they have been looking into it. So, all right, so Ryan Shelley explains why schema is not going away anytime soon on the KaliCube channel. Let's check it out.
AI only works when it has data and it's continually learning. The only way these algorithms are going to get smarter is by having structured information. That really does help. Like, yes, they can understand structured data, unstructured data, but the structured information really helps. I've seen Google double and triple down on schema over the last few years. They're continually adding more elements. They're continually looking at more and more properties. This is fueling their AI. So if they pull the plug on this, they're really hurting themselves in the long run. And I think you made a comment too about, the multimodal tech. So T5 is really what's behind all that. I know a lot of people talk about BERT, but if you read the documentation, it's actually more driven by their T5 algorithm. And it can take unstructured and structured data. But from the way I see it is if I can give the crawler more structured data, it makes its job easier. It likes its job to be easier because it's going to understand better. It's going to be able to pull more information. Is when I'm using it and I'm linking it to linked open data sources, I'm helping it see those relationships and connections, which I'm going to allow it now to understand faster. And those relationships are actually what are going to enable the multimodal technology between text to video to image to audio. When we start structuring that, because on its surface, those things don't have any meaning to the computer. They only have meaning once they read the tech and the structured data underneath it.
If you're not using any schema by now, you're missing out on some great stuff on training the AI about your pages. You can go to rankgear.com. It's Clint Butler's schema generator that he has going on, which he's a past guest over here. Great stuff. Go to rankgear.com. All right. Marie Haynes just released 100 things to know about Google core updates. Let's check it out. Let's check out the first 5.
Number 1, there are updates every day, but not all updates are core updates. Number 2, Google core updates happen a few times a year. Number 3, the point of a core update is for Google to get better at presenting relevant and authoritative content to searchers, not to penalize bad sites or sites that break Google's guidelines. And this is important. Number 4, the last core update was launched November 17th, 2021. Of course, Google would launch a core update right as my team and I were putting this video together. My team made this meme the day before the November core update launched. So the information in this video is not specific to just the November core update. But unless this update ends up being drastically different to the last few core updates that we've had, all of this video is still relevant and important to every site that wants to perform well on Google. Number 5, Google now tells us whenever they launch a core update. We tend to see 2 to 3 updates most years.
All right, one thing that is bulletproof from core updates are press releases. So this brings me to my favorite part of the show. Please ask questions and I will address them in the order that they are received. So please don't forget to like and subscribe and get that notification bell while I get things ready here. Marge has been an entrepreneur for over 15 years. He set up his first SEO agency in 2010, which focuses on local and national UK businesses. He set up Magic PR in 2018 with the goal of changing the face of PR. Magic PR has been awarded the best press releases services for ranking by SEO Intelligent Agency, SIA, in 2019. In just over 3 years, Magic PR has been distributed over 2,250 press releases and going strength to strength. Please welcome the founder of Magic PR, Marge Hussain. Marge, my man, what's up? How you doing today?
I'm good, man. Your presentations always smash it.
Oh yeah. Thank you so much. But you know what? This is like your very first podcast episode or doing a podcast, right?
This is the first time I'm ever showing my face live.
Oh, really?
On YouTube.
Oh man. Yeah, I am so happy to have you on. This is my second time trying to get you on, right? We were trying to do it earlier, like sometime last year, but thank you so much for the first time showing your face to everyone in the world in the SEO agency. This is Marge Hussain. All right. So I got to ask this question. I ask this question to all my SEO professionals right when they get on. In 1 minute, how does Marge get ranking on the first page of Google?
The quick answer, do a PR blast with Magic PR. And you'll be on the first page of Google. On a serious note, good quality content, having good backlinks, okay? Not quantity of backlinks, but quality backlinks, and having patience. As long as you got patience, you'll end up on page 1 of Google. And having good on page for your own site, okay? But having good content is key.
Love it. First knowledge bomb. And we got a comment here from Gordon. Haha, Marge got that sexy face. He shouldn't be hiding it. There you go, Marge. All right. You got the love from the crowd already. Oh, we got Terry Power in here. He's glad to be here. All right. So let me rewind this real quick. Marge, take us way back. How did you first get into SEO?
How did I first get into SEO? Okay, long story, but I'll shrink it for you guys.
No, tell us the long story.
All right. I successfully had a claims company from 2005 to 2010 in the UK, claiming back payment protection insurance. It successfully claimed back over £1 million. But the government in 2010 decided to change the law, the legislation, and we weren't able to sell it anymore or provide that service. Mm-hmm. So I had 8 to 10 staff members earning good money from me every single month, and thinking, where do I go from here? You know, I'm at the last cause right now where I've got a team of staff and I've got no route. But someone was looking over my head, and a very close friend of mine from London, owned a real estate business, calls me out the blue and says, Marge, you won't guess this, but me and my developer have got a website onto page 1 within 24 hours on Google. And I was like, I was not big in Google. Okay, I knew what Google was, but I never knew anything about how you ranked on first page of Google. So I go, how the hell did you do that? So the next day, they come over, they show me what they've actually done. So they bought an EMD, exact match domain. And 24 hours later, Dre, they were on page 1 of Google. So from that day onwards, I was like, there's got to be more to this, right? You can't just buy an EMD and get that on page 1. So I thought, yes, I've got sales staff. I can go out there and sell this service to people, to restaurants, to car hire companies and so forth, to local businesses. So I went out there, bought domains, got them on first page and said to people, let's get you on first page of Google because there you are. We're ranking already on page 1. You can rent that from us. The customers came back to me and said, that's very good what you've done there, Marge. But can you get my company on page 1 of Google, my domain? But their domain was generic.
Yeah.
So that's when I thought, shit, there's more to this, right? You can't just buy an EMD and keep getting them on page 1. They actually want their own domain. So I went out there, started researching, started scouring Google, YouTube, whatever I found, took it from there. And I've got the passion from 2010 until now. It's not stopped. So the passion keeps growing.
Love it. I can see it, especially with all the businesses that you're doing now. Well, even with we'll talk about it soon. But so when you actually learned it, when you're scouring the internet, whether what were sites you're visiting, anyone that you're following at the time? This is back, what, you said 2010? Around, 2010.
2010, 2011. So OMG machines. You remember Mike Long and the gang? You had Daryl and the guys. Clint was around. Clint, I know you're watching this. So he was around. But Warrior Forum, I was buying any tool out there. You know, when you're, well, in the SEO world, we're known for buying anything and everything and trying it and then leaving it on the shelf. I was literally buying anything to move the needle. But then when you look long and hard, you realize SEO is not a game where you can buy any tool and it's not a quick, easy button where you can get on first page of Google. You've got to actually do your research and you've got to have a bit of patience. But following OMG machines, Alex Becker was the first guy that taught me, started showing PBNs back in the day. And this is now going back. So he got me into PBNs, but he was a very good sales guy. And my background sales. So again, selling to clients. At one stage, I ended up with about 40, 45 clients. And it was a lot for one person because I never had a team. I did have a team, because I shrunk the team that I had. And from that, you know, having the research and getting the right resources and getting the right information makes you a better SEO. But again, it takes time finding the right resource.
Love it, guys. Gotta find that right resource. And that one resource of mine is one right in front of me here, Marge. Dude, that's the one reason I wanted to get you on here is because, you know, I've always wanted to get people that have helped me get stuff ranking. And Magic PR has been one of those things. I mean, I first probably heard of Magic PR. Maybe it was in SIA when I met you in maybe in the Skype groups or anything like that. I mean, you're very, very active in the Skype groups as well. And I mean, are you on Facebook or LinkedIn or anything else, or are you just more of these Skype groups?
I'm on Facebook. I'm not really on LinkedIn. I like to keep a low profile, Dre. I like people to talk about Magic PR rather than me be the forefront of it. When people like Clint, whether it's Terry Power, whether it's Kyle Roof or Dory Friend, when they recommending my services, like Craig Campbell and yourself, you keep recommending my services to other people, then I know I'm doing something right. When I'm out there doing it myself, you know, I'm not that kind of individual. I like my service to be promoted for me, so I know I'm doing something correct and keep improving on it. But Magic PR was built not from a PR point of view. It was mostly built from an SEO perspective.
Love it. And being an SEO first kind of built company, which gave it a lot of advantages, because I want to go into, I'm going to open up your features pages on, because let's talk about a little bit more about Magic PR now. Like, what is the difference? What differentiates you from other PR services? Because, you go onto Magic PR and you can see all these lists of things. Maybe some people that not into SEO will not know about or understand, but why is it so important for all the things that differentiates you from other PRs?
Okay, other PR companies now, again, I got no high, no quibbles or nothing, no offense to any PR company out there, because they do a good job for everyone out there that provides that service. I wanted to be different. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to build a PR link for the sake of building a PR link and saying, yes, here's a report, here's another 100, 200 links, and that's it, job done, move on. No, I wanted to provide a service where people saw not just a benefit, but also saw results at the end of it, right? Mm-hmm. So how I got into PR in the first place, when I was looking after my 40, 45 clients, majority were local clients, and I was mixing in SEO and PR together at the time. And as you know, I'm in a lot of Skype groups, and they kept asking me questions because I used to put screenshots up of results that were on page 1. Mm-hmm. And within 24 to 48 hours, I was getting real good results. People were like, why don't you set up a PR company? So I never had the thought of mind getting into it. A lot of people persuaded me to build something, right? Mm-hmm. And one day I thought, I put all my eggs in one basket, and I decided to get rid of at least 50% of my clients and set up Magic PR. So I put a lot of risk into it. But when setting Magic PR up, I looked at the competition and looked at what they were doing. And not anyone was, they were doing PR, but they weren't doing anything after the PR. Yeah. I thought, they're missing the trick here. So that is when I decided, okay, I need to mix in SEO with PR, but the right attributes. One thing I was really passionate about was iframes embedding, right? Yep. And that's one of my main features that I do. And not a lot of PR companies right now offer a lot of iframing. If they do, they can offer 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. I could offer 6 or 7. And nice. I get away with a lot. And I will go above the boundary to get you results. And as long as the distribution are happy with what I do, and they've got no qualms of what I'm doing, then I'll keep doing it. As long as it's providing you and your clients results, I will keep improving my company. That's the way I work.
Love it. Looking out for your clients first is always a great attribute for any company. But I want to talk about a little more about your iframes, because you're saying maybe other companies don't do it. What is the benefit of the iframes you're referring to? Like, what's going on here with the iframes? Can you describe this process?
Yeah, so when we iframe, so I will iframe the actual press release that you've done with us in an actual iframe and put it on that page, right? So when it gets crawled, it's being crawled twice. So if you, for argument's sake, have done 2 PR campaigns with us, we will have the first press release out there, but we'll embed the previous PR that you did also. So Google comes in, not just only checks out the first PR, but it's recrawling the previous. So those links are getting and those links do follow links in an iframe, which is really important in my case, and that's the reason why I do it.
Love it, and yeah, I've seen that done to some of the press releases just for this show that we've actually ran through you, and we actually get your own like little newsroom there, and that's great stuff. But I want to go even further down this feature list that you do here, because it says here press release SEO DFY. So I see a bunch of all these other things going on here. So something Google Stacks, Cloud Authority Stacks, PDFs, Google things. So you're doing like these Google property things. What's going on here?
Okay, we're doing it for my clients. We were Google Drive stacks, and we were building a cloud stack. Okay, so when I mean by a cloud stack, I mean Amazon, Google Cloud, and Microsoft. What I'm doing is I'm stacking one on top of the other. So I'm using Microsoft at the bottom, then it could be Google, and then it could be AWS, or any other, whichever way you want to do it. But we've actually built actual website templates for each of the clouds, making them tier 1 properties for the PR. So what I'm doing, Dre, I'm building powerful tiered properties for the actual PR. So if you're getting for argument's sake, when you go onto the pricing page and our gold package comes with that premium distribution, we will build a cloud stack and a Google Drive stack for one of the powerful properties like Globe Newswire, AP News, as well as my own newsroom. So my newsroom was a brand new domain 2.5 years ago. And within 2.5 years, it's already a DR55. So it's got a good rank because of the work that my team does behind me. It's not me that does it. I've got a team that's been trained as the way I work. That's the way they work. And the Google Drive stacking and the combination of everything becomes very powerful. But it's got to be in the right process, right? As long as you're doing it in the right process, you'll get the results all day.
Love it, having that process set out. And I'm curious, is this process that you have going on here, do you teach this? I know you've done some webinars, but is this process that you teach or no?
No, this process is staying close to my heart. This is like 6 or 7 years worth of hard work.
Got it.
Right? You know, you've been in SEO for a long time. It doesn't come overnight to you. You got to keep building onto it, and you got to keep up with the changes. What Google's bringing out there, you got to make sure you're not step ahead, but close to it, right? So you got to stay one step ahead of your competition. That's the way I see it. So if another PR company comes up and brings out something new, I will look at it, but then I will change my PR company to be at least 5 times ahead of them, right?
Love it.
Next year, my goal is to change the face of PR. I don't want people coming to me thinking I'm a typical PR company. I'm not. We do a lot of things different.
Love it. Changing the face of PR. That's a big, bold statement, and I know you can do it. Man, all right. I want to go ahead and get there's some questions coming in already. I want to see, we have one here from Stefan. Stefan asks, hi, Marge. How many links you'd include in a PR and what you'd link to?
Okay, good question. Thank you, Stefan. The first part of the answer to that question is, yes, we allow 5 contextual links inside of a PR, but my recommendation is no more than 2 or 3. And a lot of people, whether it's an agency client or a business client, would ask me, why would you want to add less than more? If you're getting a link back from Globe Newswire and you're adding 5 links into that Globe Newswire link, you're diluting that power of that link 5 times. So my opinion is no more than 2 to 3 inside of a PR, okay? And that way you're getting maximum boost from each of those links that are coming back to your site. Our premium distribution is around about 150 sites. Then you've got my standard, which is another 250. So you've got ample amount of distribution, but you've got to be smart about it, right? Now, what would I link to? Now, that's a very broad question because it depends on whether it's a local client or a national client. If it's a national client and it's the first PR, for every first PR campaign you do, whether it's for a national or local client, I would target the brand. The brand is more important than your actual keywords that you're trying to rank for. That's something Google teaches you, right? They tell you to go after your brand. The more brand exposure you have, the better. And that's one of the first things I recommend to each client or each agency owner. Please target the brand first and then move down from that. Okay, then go after your partial keyword, whichever inner page that you want to target, but firstly target the home page, making sure it has the power.
Love it. All right. Speaking of brands, so even when I feel like the press releases are even good for personal brands too, right? It's like when you have people coming to you. Do you have people coming to you for to build up the personal brand and announcing things or anything like that?
Yeah, I've touched wood. This year has been really good. Why? Because my premium distribution started in March of this year, and we've already done just over 300 PRs with it.
Wow.
And it's growing really fast. But again, I get people asking for brand management, getting things off of Google for, say, they've had negative press out there.
Yeah, reputation management. Yeah.
I get a lot of that. I can do casino related, I can do CBD related, I can do anything. As long as, one thing what people forget, 3 things are really important when you do a PR. If you're doing it for local or national, the topic, it needs to be newsworthy, right? It needs to announce something. As long as it's newsworthy and it's announcing something that is trending, right? And you can mix everything into one title. Trust me, you'll get a lot of links because a lot more editorial teams will look at that PR and see, this is newsworthy, this needs to go out on our site. I have the ability of sending it out to 400 or 500 sites, right?
Yep.
But the end user or the end point, the actual editorial team will look at that and say, yes or no. So we've got to make sure, not just from a SEO point of view, but also from a PR point of view, it needs to stack up. As long as it stacks up and it's trending, it's a trending topic. So for argument's sake, COVID. When I did a PR for Magic PR, I just added the word COVID into the title, mixed it in, and we ended up on Bloomberg. So it shows you the power that a PR can have. So that's included in our premium.
Love it. So including trends in your PR campaigns is actually a great tip there. Love that. Okay. So I want to go into more questions from the audience. We got one here from Hobby. Hobby asks, do you optimize page releases with Page Optimizer Pro?
Yes, I do. So Kyle is a good friend of mine. He's been using Magic PR for over 2.5 years now. And I've known Kyle before obviously setting up Magic PR. So I had a discussion with him because, again, I'm always looking at ways of improving or adding things to Magic PR. So Page Optimizer Pro was added to Magic PR before Surfer SEO came out. So Surfer, I think, came out 6 months thereafter. So my team now uses Page Optimizer Pro as well as Surfer SEO. So whichever they feel comfortable with, they will utilize. It could be any of them too.
Love it. All right, we see CBD cakes here. Hashtag CBD SEO. So you're doing press releases. Like you said, gambling. Are you even even weed, marijuana, CBD, whatever it takes?
CBD, as long as, like I said, as long as it's announcing something. I've even got affiliates sending me PRs now because they know I can get them out.
Oh.
Right. So for casino, we've got one client that owns 25 casinos around the world, online casinos, and we do PRs for them every single month now.
Love it. All right. So you're talking about, so you said something, as long as it's newsworthy, which takes us to our next part of our, I want to bring this conversation, which is Google News sites. This is something that I've seen you within the past year, just getting more into, and it's something part of your offering as well. I see it on there, and it's part of these tiers of things. But tell us a little bit more about Google News sites and why they are so important. Because I haven't really seen other SEOs really, out there just really talking about more Google News sites and making part of their campaign. Yeah.
So in 2018, when I initially set up Magic PR, there was only one company that was Google News approved, as in the PR distribution list of mine, which was Digital Journal, right? And so I looked at that and I thought, there must be a way of getting into Google News. So the way I researched SEO, I went out there and started researching Google News. How do you get approval into Google News? And then within two to 3 weeks thereafter, I figured out the way. I firstly wanted Magic PR to be Google News approved, because that was meant to be the newsroom. But then when I sent that to Google News, it got rejected straight away because it was a promotional site. It was promoting. The only way they would Google News approve that was if I removed all the pages, pricing, everything, just had a blank canvas and just the blog on there, they would have approved it. And I said, no, that's hurting my business. If I went and did that. So I went back to the drawing board and I bought my newsroom domain, the Newsfront. I bought that, and within 4 weeks, because in 2018, Dre, it was taking between 4 to 6 weeks to be approved for one domain. Right? So I got that approved. I said, okay. But then I started thinking about stacking and interlinking. And I thought, wait there's more to Google News than meets the eye. Because one thing I realized very quickly, the minute you put a PR out on my newsroom, it was being indexed and crawled within minutes. Right? I thought, okay. When you have that light bulb moment, that's what I had. So I thought, okay, I'm not going to stop at one. So I ended up building, right now we have over 250 Google News approved sites. But again, they're all stacked, they're all interlinked, they all talk to each other, and they pass the juice to the main site. And that's where that all came from. And again, looking at other PR companies, they don't really look at it that way. And because I come from an SEO background, that's where I thought that's another advantage Magic PR could have.
So we're getting a bunch of questions here, but I want to go back to a little bit where you said stacking. So when you say stacking your Google News sites, are you iframing these in? What's your definition?
So iframing them, and what I mean by stacking is there's always a link at the bottom of every PR that we do, attribution link, that goes back to the top. So there's something I'm sure you already know. I've built a plugin for Google News, not to get approved for Google News, but for syndication. I'm a big believer of syndication, right? Over RSS. And what we do with our Google News sites, we syndicate them from 250 all the way to number 1. So everything is drip fed and scheduled from 250 upwards, right? So everything is linked. So the attribution at the bottom is going to be my newsroom. So the newsroom is getting links from 250 sites every single time a PR goes out. Yeah, so that's the way.
Love it. All right. So we got some questions here from one from Viral Clout. How do you make casino or boring topics newsworthy? Could you give an example?
You need to go on my newsroom. Okay, I don't make the topics or the stories. That's all down to my writers. And Dre, when I started in PR, I had very, very poor writers, like, cheap and cheerful, because I was trying to make a living and run a business at the same time. But with time, the money that we've made into Magic PR, it's gone into investing into good stuff. And touch wood, I've got some very good writers now. We just give them, like some of my agency clients that even fill in a submission form, they put a very basic line topic in. But my team will go out there, do the research, find a trending and newsworthy story to write about. And they 90% of the time get it right the first time.
No, I love it. I mean, when I read my press releases from you, I'm like, you got me hyped up. I'm like, wow, that's some good stuff. Everyone's gonna watch the SEO video show now. All right. So we got a here's a headline for you. Here, a guest put in: casino operator hopes to break ground on new digital NFT world. There you go. There goes a example for you. Viral Clout. All right, Nico asks, what is your main resource nowadays? And I'm assuming this is for, I guess, Google News sites. Or are you're building yourself, right? You're doing this.
Yes, I'm building them.
Yeah.
I bought out a Google News course back in January of this year. That went down really well. So I teach people how to do it. But yeah, with regards to PR or SEO, I now follow people like Clint being one, Craig Campbell, you got Chris Palmer. So I still go out there, do some research, because you don't know everything in SEO, right? There's always something new we're learning every single day. And until this day, I don't know everything, but I will go out there, do the research. And if I find something that's valuable and beneficial to me and my company, I will go tell my team and we will implement it. Simple. I don't sit on my laurels thinking, yes, Magic PR is the best out there. No, it can be a lot better. But as long as it's providing results for the end user, it's not about how much revenue it makes. It's about how much results it can show. That's the way I feel.
Love it. Again, very results oriented and looking out for your customers. That's always a great thing to keep people coming back. All right. So you said you teach making Google News sites, or making the Google News sites. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about that. Like, I know you did some presentations on it. Like, I'm curious, like, can we just maybe do some high level stuff where how can you get a Google site approved? What's one thing that you have to make sure you have to look for?
Right now, honestly, I would recommend whoever's in SEO, I would recommend having a Google News site. Okay. 2 reasons. One is indexing. We all complain about indexing. Every SEO you listen to, oh, my stuff's not getting indexed. Google News is your best friend for that, right? It's Google owned, and whenever you do a post, wherever you send that link to, that page as well as that post will get indexed because it's getting crawled, right? So that's one reason. And the second reason is referral traffic, because you're not ending up just on the Google News tab. You're ending up in news.google.com and Google Discover, as well as iOS and Android app for Google News. So you've got a lot of referral traffic coming back to the actual article or PR, whatever you've written. There's a lot of traffic going back to that actual source. So those are 2 very important things. And the other thing is you could also monetize your Google News sites. So once they're approved, put some AdSense on them, make some money from it.
Nice.
Yeah. So you got some juicy things to do there.
All right. So you say like everyone should have a Google News site. Is just maybe 1, 2, 3? Like how much?
Okay, if you run an agency or you run a small business of an SEO agency, right? You've got 5 or 10 clients. I would say 10 to 20 are more than enough. You don't need to go crazy and start building 250, or you don't need to be Holly when she's gonna build 5,000, right? Holly's different to us, so she likes to go above and beyond. With me, I'm happy with my 250 because I own a PR industry business, so I can go build more. But as long as I find good, decent domains, I won't build it on a brand new domain. I'm always buying auction domains, right? As long as they're relevant and they have some authority, I will go and get it Google News approved.
Why expired domains? Is there like any, compared to like maybe like cool domains that you can probably come up with?
Brand new domains don't have any authority and you're starting from ground zero. Whereas when you're buying a domain from auction, it already has a bit of SEO, a bit of link building done to it. So as long as you've done your due diligence and you've looked at that domain and you thought, yes, it has the power that it needs. So it might be a DR10 or a 15 to begin with. That's a good starting point, right? And if you can get it on the cheap, purchase it, get it Google News approved. You've got a win-win situation there. And you can then utilize it as a PBN network, or you could, what I call it, is a Google News network for your own clients. So instead of you going out and buying guest post links or niche edit links, you're building your own actual asset there, which you could reutilize over and over again.
Love it. All right. So that's great stuff there. So I'm curious. All right. So okay, now you say we should get one. Like, so what are some things that we should look out for to get approved? I mean, I know of course the domain has to make sense, right? Where does someone even go? Like, I believe there's a certain place you have to go to. Like, is it publishers.google.com or something like that, or something?
So it's Google News Publisher Center.
Okay.
But the most important thing is the website you build. Okay, the template that you use. Right now, it's very easy to get approved. It's typically within 3 to 5 days you are approved by Google News, right? Whereas 2 years ago it was 4 to 6 weeks. So there's a massive difference. But having the right content, which again my course goes through, and Dre, because this is your last show, whoever's on this live call today, I'm willing to give my course for free. Okay, to everyone on this. Right. So
what? All right.
It's a Christmas present from Marge.
Love it.
So the course will teach you everything from start to finish, as in building the right template, where to get the content from, how to back up that site again, repurpose that site with the same content. So you're not redoing the whole work from start to end. You've got the template built, you've got the backbone, you've backed it up, put it on another domain, get another domain approved. So you can slowly but surely, the course goes through everything from start to finish.
Love it.
Whether you're oldie.
Excellent.
All right, guys, be sure to send me an email and I will reply with you with the links, Dre@SEO.video, Dre@SEO.video if you want that free course. And then I'll copy you with an email with Marge. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to him. But that's so great. That's so awesome. Thank you so much. Thomason says, you're on fire. Love it. Okay, if you guys have any more questions, go ahead and please ask them in the live chat while I come down to my last few questions here. But okay, so I was gonna ask you, like, okay, once we get your course, like, what is the cost of like something like this? Go for like how much are you looking to spend?
Okay, so you could buy a brand new domain, which can cost you $5, $10, whatever whoever you go and purchase it from. Or if you're gonna go buy an auction domain, you could spend from anything from $100 all the way up to $1,000, depending on your budget. But don't go crazy, right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna go bid on a domain, don't get into a bidding war. Always have a price in your head that you're willing to spend. As long as you've got that price stuck in your head and I don't want to go over this amount, don't go over that amount then. Or buy a brand new domain to begin with and see how you get on. Hosting, again, my course goes through it. So it goes through the cheap and cheerful hosting providers to the intermediates and the most expensive ones out there. So I typically use AWS, Lightsail, and Liquid Web for a lot of our hosting. So those are the two costs that you'll have, right? Hosting and purchasing the domain. Once it's been approved, I get a lot of questions asked, oh, Marge, do I need to publish a post every single day on my Google News site for it to stay Google News approved? No. You can post one a day, once a month, once a year. It's entirely up to you. As long as you adhere to their guidelines and you don't post anything that they don't like, you'll be absolutely fine. You won't get suspended. In the 2.5 years that I've been doing it now, I've not had any site removed or suspended by Google News. So once it's been approved, you can go crazy on it, man.
Oh, nice.
The one thing I do want to mention on the course, I do go through my plugin. What the plugin does, and hopefully in the new year sometime, we could do a demo if you want.
Okay.
It basically you build a network of 10 sites. So imagine you have 10 domains. You've built them out. You post on one domain, okay? That one post will then get automatically syndicated to the other 10 on autopilot. You're not just building the post, but you're building an organization and entity page.
Yes. Yeah.
To go alongside that post, right? So the post and the entity page will get syndicated and drip fed to the other 10 sites. So those 10 sites are building power back to the main site. So every single time, because you're putting the attribution link in, you're sending the power from the first site, the 10 sites back to number one. So all 10 sites are building power to the main site. So you're literally building your own network out there.
Love it. So where can we get this plugin? Is it in the course that you'll show us, or is it like anywhere?
It is. Right now, I don't have a page for it because I wasn't going to make it public to the world.
Okay.
I was just going to be very picky with it. But I've had so much good feedback regarding the plugin because nobody's ever seen anything like it before. And again, Dre, you've got to see it in person to appreciate what we've got. It's taken us nearly 8 months to build and to perfect because it has a scheduling system in there. You can have categories on your site, so you can go into each category, whichever category you want it to go to, it will go. You're just clicking a button and it does the rest for you. It's rebuilding everything for you on autopilot.
Wow.
So that's what I mean with the PR industry. I really want to change it next year, man, and that plugin is going in the right direction.
All right. Be sure to ask your questions. So I'm guessing that we'll be able to see that plugin, get access to that plugin through the course, or like see where we can get it.
Yeah.
All right. So Nico says you're on fire. All right. So I didn't see any other questions come in, but I'm going to ask my last question. And if you guys have more questions, go ahead and ask before we let Marge go. But for those that want to get into the SEO industry, I ask this all the time for my guests, like, what would your advice be to them to become an SEO professional?
Go out there, do the research, be patient, because any job you go into, you're not going to go into, thinking that you know everything. You're not. You're going to go in blind, but you need to go out there and follow the right people, right? We make the mistake. We start following so many people. We start taking so much information, and then we don't know which way or which route to take. Follow the right people. So I'd recommend Craig Campbell, Clint, yourself, Terry Power, Kyle Roof. These are some individuals that I really like what they share out there, and they speak honestly and they speak the right stuff. So you follow the right people and then have the right process in your mind. But again, you got to do a lot of testing, which a lot of people forget to do. As long as you're doing testing and you're, again, writing stuff down and researching the right information, you'll be on the right stead. But take everything step by step. Don't start building links, start doing on page, and then think, I'm not getting the results. But you got to do things one step at a time, and then you will get the results.
Love it. All right. So we got one thing that was asked there. Someone was asking, Red Project was actually asking, what's the course URL? So you don't have a page for this, right? This is something we'll have to email out to people?
It's actually Zoom links. There was a course page which we've removed now.
Okay.
So I'll stop selling it. The course URL, there's 4 actual videos, Zoom videos. So because this was a live training course that I did back in January, so they're pre-recorded now. So I'll email them to you, and then whoever gets in contact with you, you can give it to them.
Love it. All right, guys.
I will do my Skype group Google News Group channel as well, so they can.
Oh, I'm not even part of that. You didn't invite me to that. You have a Google News channel?
I'll add you to it, man.
All right, all right.
When we get it, we'll add you to it.
All right, lovely, lovely. All right, guys. I didn't see any other questions come by here, so but please, Marge, can you hold on one quick second so I can talk to you offline? All right, guys. Let me go ahead and get this things ready here. All right, that concludes another episode of the SEO Video Show. This is the last episode for 2021. Hope you found it helpful and insightful, because I did. But I will see you on January 14th, 2022. Happy holidays and have a happy new year. Peace out.
Thank you for watching. Hope you come back next week. Make sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss a thing. Hope you learn something new, because the vibe is incredible. From the special SEO professionals, SEO video show. Let's work. Want to see you be an SEO expert. Paul Andre DeVera helping you step it up. No delay right now. Time to level up. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe.